Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're gonna go ahead and continue working on the 50, the KTM Sx50. Did a little bit of cleanup on the 530, but didn't record it. Basically just threw the case halves in the parts washer, and I have another video where I went through a bunch of parts on with the parts washer. If you want to watch it, it's the CR250 episodes towards the beginning and the breakdown. Also in the CRF 450. But so I didn't bother with recording that. I just wanted to get them clean. Got them pretty clean, replaced some of the seals, and the bearings are freezing right now. We'll heat up the cases and drop those bearings in whenever we're ready to put that thing back together. But ended up sending the crank off to Millennium and got a text message that they were already working on it, so that's cool. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and continue working on the 50. So I'm gonna put you guys on a tripod, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some steel polish, and we're gonna use this Neverdoll stuff and steel wool. It's the best stuff for these chrome plated or shine, these two-stroke pipes. I did this on the CR250 and it was even worse than this, and it turned out real good. So we'll go ahead, we'll clean this little pipe up real quick. I also have the silencer down there. I don't know if we're gonna, yeah, we'll polish that too, what the hell. And then we need to take the wheels off and inspect the bearings, and just take the plastics off, completely deconstruct it, and get it ready to paint the frame and the swing arm. Just so you know, this is kind of what we start with. It is the next day, and we got it pretty cleaned up for the most part. That's pretty clean. A little bit of dirt on there, not really much though. We're gonna sand it down now, try to get the rest of it, at least along the frame edge and most of the obviously visible areas. We'll get it masked off and ready for some paint. And then we cleaned up this, so you know where we started. That cleaned up pretty well. And I took a razor and some sandpaper to the sticky residue. We'll do that a little bit more, sand it down a little bit more, try to get it flat so that it'll be just a nice smooth black finish. From that seconds. I ended up pulling the stem out. It was pretty nasty, so I had to clean it up. There's an aluminum cap that I had to polish off. It looked like, I don't think anybody's ever repacked those roller bearings, so I just stuffed a rag up in the bottom here. That's kind of a preview of what it looks like inside. but stuffed a rag up in there, polished the aluminum cap, and then taped it off and then put it back on top. We'll just paint around that. And then took the Dremel and one of those polish wheels, the coarse one, and pulled all the grime and all of the shit off of that, so it's ready for paint. It's pretty much raw metal. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna mask off this roller bearing. This is kind of also a glimpse of what it looked like inside there. Pretty nasty. But anyways, we're gonna mask off that roller bearing, and then we'll go ahead and put the first coat of paint on here. All right, we got the first, and I think that's gonna be the only coat. I'm not gonna put too much effort into it, but I think we got it all pretty well covered. Now we just gotta let it hang dry, and then we can go ahead and put it back together. Not gonna look too shabby, I don't think. In an effort to try to keep the black nice and not chipped up, I'm gonna put probably some little grip tape pieces right there, or maybe some vinyl, just to insulate the boot from the bike so it doesn't scratch up as easy. But yeah, it'll look good. Welcome back. Well, we had some unexpected time off, so we're just gonna go ahead and keep working if we don't have any honeydew things to do throughout the day. So I ended up finishing. I actually had to go and get another can of double up enamel, basically some high gloss automotive grade spray enamel is what I used on this frame. I put 2 coats on it, and then while it was hanging, I actually took it outside because it's pretty nice and let it bake in the sun for a little bit. And then while it was hanging up, I put the swing arm on, and then put it on the stand here, and put the back tire on it so it would stay standing up. So far we've got the shock reinstalled. We've got the back tire and the brakes. I just need to tighten up the brake and the master cylinder, put on the guides here, and then we'll just keep going ahead. I got the triple clamp mounted in. That was pretty nasty. Here, I'll show you what it looked like inside. That's what the grease looked like inside on the roller bearings. So I cleaned off the roller bearings inside the triple clamp and re-greased those. Whenever I grease, I just use some heavy duty or extreme pressure multi-duty complex high temp grease. It's like $3 or $4 at your auto parts store, or I think you can get it at Harbor Freight too. Pretty cheap stuff. But let's go ahead and just keep on putting it together. You said never let me go. 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 All right, we took a break from the bike to move on to the plastics. We'll do the plastics and then we will get the front on with the handlebars, and then the plastics will go on last. We still have to figure out our front perch. The bolt snapped off to tighten that on, so I'm gonna have to drill that out and I don't know, figure something out with that to get it tight. And then what else? I think that's about it. Everything else was pretty smooth, so yeah, so let's go ahead and clean up these plastics. We took the heat gun and heated up all the plastics and peeled them off. They came off pretty good with the exception of a little bit of crust on the top, but you can see all the way around the edges of these things there's goo, so we need to soak them and yeah, soak them and then scrub them. So let's get on that. So we're back in it a couple days later. Gonna clean up the plastics now. Best way I found, this actually turned out pretty good. Got all the grease around the edges. There's a little pressure crack, but all the sticky stuff is off of there. Really, we're covering all that up anyways, so you just don't want any dirt underneath the stickers. So a couple little things on there, but I'll be able to go back over it with some soap, dish detergent, and a clean rag and clean it all up first. But what I'm using is brake parts cleaner and a bunch of blue rags. So you don't want to hit it with the brake parts cleaner. You soak the rag a little bit. See, I've got a pile of them right here, but you soak the rag and you fold it in quarters like this. Fold it in quarters and then hit the shroud. Make sure this is wet with brake parts cleaner. Slowly wipe over it, wipe back over it, and then flip, do the other side and back over it, and then turn it again, and then you can actually flip it so you have 8 sides basically, if not more, 8, 9, 10. There's a bunch of sides. Basically, that's why you quarter it. But you don't ever want to go back over a place that you just cleaned off with the old rag. Otherwise, all the boogers you can see like the boogers on here from the adhesive will actually reapply themselves and then they start to smear. So if you've ever used Goo Gone or WD-40 or even brake parts cleaner or carb cleaner to try to clean off these plastics and get the adhesive off, it works, but you can only go over it with that rag one time. And as soon as you go back over it with the same dirty rag, you get a roll of a bunch of boogers that just came off from that old adhesive. So yeah, soak it down, soak the rag down, wipe it in one direction, turn it, wipe it again while it's wet, and then turn it and wipe it again, and you'll have a pretty clean plastic. That's pretty clean. That's a good working surface. So we'll continue with the rest of our pile. I did the biggest part first, so actually turned out pretty good. So we'll keep on going. So anyways, the next video we should be able to start putting the 65 back together and start applying the little graphics kit that we have. If you want to see a video on the graphics kit installation, there's a good one on the CR250. There's also one, I think, on the CRF450, the 2016. But I'll try to get some of it on video. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Until next time, peace.